This is David Stevens with Finwell Builders. Today is Thursday, August 19th, 2021, and this is a stock market update for closing out our day of trading. So let's get right into it. If you've not subscribed to our channel, please subscribe so we can continue bringing these videos to you. And continue hitting that like button. Looking at the market, Dow Jones was down 0.19%, NASDAQ up 0.11%, and S&P 500 up 0.13%. So, overall pretty well flat in the marketplace. If you look at the heat map here, you can see the FANG stocks were pretty well flat. Microsoft had a nice little bump. Tesla came down a little bit, which we'll talk about that later. Consumers were up, but overall, pretty well, mix of highs and lows. You look at China. China's back down, very red. You see they continue to lose prices in their stock. So, always looking for opportunities, but, overall in the world, you can see a lot of red here, which means, a lot of weakness here in the markets right now for today. So we'll have to see what that brings tomorrow. Looking at China though, Friday, it's hard to say if it's going to be another down day. But as we get in the charts, we'll talk about, what to look for and what Friday might bring us. Looking at stocks on the scanner today, you see it's SNNN and SNOA. And so let's look at those charts here. You look at here, SNNN. I did not catch this trade. I was almost in it, and then I hopped on to a couple other stocks. So if you did get this one, then congratulations. The lowest 0.73 cents, high of 207. Maybe if you got 50 cents of this, it was a great run. It did pull back here to the 50 at 151, pop almost back up to $2, and then declined the rest of the day. And we see this a lot. A lot of the stocks will give you a couple bumps here in the morning, and then you see it kind of fell off and retrace. And so you can see the retracement didn't quite fill the entire gap here that was left from this morning. I'll go ahead and draw it in here so you just can have a visual. And so you can see here, it's about halfway through this. It could retrace back down to 73 cents. Could find some support, even though it's below the 200, which makes me a little concerned it's not going to. And it could bump up and go to back up to the high or even higher. But right now this looks weaker to me. But we'll leave it on the list through the week and see what happens tomorrow. SNOA, this is one I did trade, and much better. It opened at 540, was a low, high of 1336. So nice run up. This gapped up pretty quick. So before it hit the radar, you probably missed this first one I did. But we pulled back down almost to the 50 at 882, had a rally back up to 1164. That was my run. This one I missed. But that's okay. It hit the scanner. I was able to get in, get set up, get organized, look for that 50. And then you can see that after it hit 1164, came back to the 50. So I looked for support. I bought back in here again, and then it just trailed for a long time. And then I just kind of decided I was going to close out my positions and go work on other stuff. And so coming back and looking at the market, it was probably a good thing. You can see here that it did sell off at the end of the day, which we talked about, in the prior stock and also prior videos, is that you see the two bumps and a trail off, which is like what we have. And if you look again, it's similar to the last stock we just talked about, we did almost fill this gap here. And so here's the gap, and give you another visual so you can see that this is like the gap that was left from this morning. Filled partial here and a little bit more here, and we're on the 200 though. So this one I am looking to see if this will give us another bounce up, maybe right back towards $11, maybe even higher. So definitely looking at this one on Friday as well to see if this can give us some additional price here, action here. Looking at earnings today at MACY, Kohl's, BIBI, Estee Lauder, BJ's, Ross. And so looking at those, there's only a couple of them that I actually trade. Oh, and this is Deere. This is for tomorrow. It's the only one I'm watching for tomorrow to see what kind of price action we're getting on Deere. So I'll be watching that pre-market, getting up early to see that, just to see if we can get a piece of that. Macy's gave us a nice run, $18 to $22. When it pulled back here to the 50, I sold out here. And I didn't get back in the rest of the day. I looked for a possible opportunity, but It's just was pretty much flat consolidating. And so, like I said, towards the end of the day, I just got out and went and worked on other things. So did not get anything more on Macy's. I'll be watching tomorrow though to see if there's any continuation. Target gave a nice little bump up here. 240 was the low, 249 was the high, and then it kind of trailed back off here. So we can see if Target gives us anything more. You can see it's kind of downward sloping. It's below the 200, which means it'll probably continue to kind of trail down. It's more of a scalping stock for me, if anything else, but I'll keep it on the rest this week. Coal's another one, gave us a little bump. 55 was a low, 56.28 was the high, so really nice. It pulled back to 54.90, back up to 56, so almost, a little bit over $1. Did the same thing a couple times. So it's kind of curling back up. It's the only thing that's positive about this. I'm looking at this for a morning trade possibly. So we'll be watching coals and see if it can break back through here towards this high. If it doesn't, then we have a lower high, which means it's probably going to break down. BLL, so this one's been a couple day trade. So you can see here 88.72, got to high of almost 91, broke back down to 200 at basically at $90. Had a nice rally up to 92 today. So not really huge, but enough to to get a little bit off this trade. And then we've consolidated. This one again, don't know if I'll keep it on long term. I think there's other stocks that have better price action, but we got a little bit out for a couple days. Tesla, found its weakness here back a few days ago when it tried to hit 720, and so we've been just kind of falling back, down again. And so the low today, was 667. High today was this 686. So again, like I say, every day there's a Tesla play. So you could have rode this up, you could have shorted it. Even if you shorted the whole market, you can see it's staying below the 200. And below the 50, which means it's more likely it's going to continue to decline. And so we'll see where it takes us tomorrow. But Tesla, it'll attempt to make a high again, but for right now it's consolidating and moving slightly lower. Nvidia, we've been tracing and tracking this one and trading it for several weeks, and see here today gave you a nice opportunity here, 187.62. Low 204.95, pull back to 195, back up to 199. So so we're going to sell in here. It's probably going to consolidate, squeeze, and then it's going to bump again. So to the high side or low side, it just kind of depends on the whole market. So we'll watch the market for give us a direction. Moderna just continues to slope down. So you can see here it kind of stair steps, and it's been stair stepping down since it got to the high. And so it's got to settle out here sometime. I find some support here. I thought maybe it would be today. So we'll see where this kind of goes. It's at the 375 level. See if we can find some support here, or if not, it'll continue down lower, maybe down even towards that 300 mark. NVAX, same thing, downward sloping. So just a slow grind down. And then BNTX is the other one. And again, a slow grind down. So all three of these stocks pretty much are behaving the same way. So these three, I'm just watching all three of them to give me an idea of where direction is. Now I do like that BNTX did consolidate. It looks like it might have found a bottom. That means the other two I'm going to be watching for a bottom as well, because if it does, it's a potential for it to pull back up here and give us a little bit of a run. So the dollar's consolidating here, that 93.50 level here. So we'll see where it takes us. Right now, just consolidating. The VIX, a nice spike today, 18 up to 24. That's what was causing the markets to react negatively. It pulled back down to 20, back up to 23. It's right in that 21 range, so it's still high. It's got to get back below the 17, 18 mark if we want the market to continue to climb up. So I'm going to be watching, the VIX and the dollar tomorrow morning, be pre-market, to see. That gives us a clue as far as what direction the market's going to go. So SPY is consolidating this little channel now. We'll see what direction it decides to break up or break down. You can see here's kind of lines in the sand 437.40 for downward trend, or here above this 440 or 441 up to an upward trend, and it's got to break this 200 that's sitting right above it as well. Triple Qs, nice little dip here. If you got this dip, congratulations. That was a great move, and you can see just dipped and rallied right back up. It retraced about 50% of that mark, went back up to retrace 50% of that mark. So we'll see if it continues this upward slope back to new highs. Semiconductors pull back right onto this 50. See, it's done it a few times. So that 15,100 are acting as good support. So on this 100 here on the daily is where we want to see if this is going to bounce up again. So looking for a bounce up tomorrow. If it breaks down, it's possible it could go down lower, but typical trend is it bounces and rallies back up. Dow Jones, this is another one. Back towards the 100 off the 50 to the 50, back towards the 100 through the 50, back towards the 100. So very consistent. So looking for this to bounce as well. IWM, you see it's really a downward sloping trend, but it's consolidating a little bit, it's flattened out. So if it does, we could start to rally back up. Right now, it's pretty well just consolidating on a downward slope. Gold, downward as well, kind of consolidating right here. We'll see if it rallies back up. Probably it will with the added attention that we're getting. If there's a lot of fear in the market, you're going to see gold tick up. Silver usually falls well, and if you look at it, it's just like had this nice little bump right above these highs, and so it's breaking up through that 2330 resistance level, which is what we want to see a nice rally out of silver. Bitcoin continues to just kind of grind up here. This 47, you can see its resistance. It's going to just continue grinding and beating on that until it can break through. If it goes too long, though, it may collapse and pull back again. Ethereum, again, just grinding up towards this new high. So it just continues to do well. Doge, nice little spike up here, and you can see they kind of declined. So it's been declining back down. So not as strong of a mover. But this is our that's the stocks that we're tracing and trading, and what we're looking for is continuation on a lot of those names into tomorrow. If tomorrow's up, if the overall market's down, then again, just be careful, and we'll be looking for shorts. So stay safe out there. This is our last video for this week. Over the weekend on Sunday, we'll do a Monday morning prep. And just continue to watch these videos, comment on us, let us know how we're doing, what would you like to see differently, and we'll continue to improve these and bring these to you. All these are trade ideas. Everybody have a great night.